Hi, it's Miss Heather. I'm the music director at Conservatory of the Ozarks, and I have such a weird video to make tonight. Um, I've had some really strange news today, and just such crazy roller coaster last couple of weeks. And I've had some things happen tonight that I don't really want to post on social media yet because I'm kind of not sure, but I really want to kind of document how I'm feeling right now and what I'm thinking. So I thought I'd post it on my YouTube channel because like nobody watches my YouTube channel. So it's a safe place to save it for later. um, so I'm actually sitting at my house right now on the floor surrounded by boxes and things because I'm moving my home in addition to my studio right now. And if you haven't been following my story, then some of this stuff might seem weird to you, but I'm not gonna like go through the whole story right now because I've already told it so many times. But basically, Conservatory of the Ozarks had this huge drop in enrollment during the coronavirus shutdown, and we haven't recovered from it. And I applied for funding from the CARES Act, but when they heard that I said we were closing, they're like, well, you're disqualified, so you can't have funding from that. And I was like, well, we're closing because we couldn't get funding. If we had funding, we wouldn't have to close. But it's like, well, too bad, it's too late. Because the rules that they have to follow, I guess, if you might be closing, you can't get the funding. And today is Monday, September 28th. Tomorrow is Tuesday, September 29th. And Wednesday, 2 days from now, and it's nighttime right now, it's almost the end of today, is the 30th of September. It's the day that we are set to close unless we have a miracle. So, I mean, pretty close to the wire. And, you know, if you're hoping for a miracle, but you don't have any indication that there's going to be a miracle, like you have to prepare for the worst. So I've been preparing for the conservatory to close, and we've been selling off console pianos that we have, and teachers have all been talking to their students about like, what are we going to do after this week? I've been talking to my students about it. That's why, you know, I'm moving. It's like, gotta rearrange everything so I can have an in-home studio. And I've spent, I guess, the last month or 6 weeks just trying to think of how could closing Conservatory of the Ozarks be a good thing? How can I be at peace with it? How can it be okay and not be this horrible tragedy that just makes me feel like my whole life was a waste up to now? So I've been trying to think of, you know, oh, it'll be more peaceful because it'll just be me and my students at my house, and just a lot less things to worry about. Trying to put a positive spin on it in my mind and not feel super bad about it. But, well, if you've watched any of my videos for the last couple weeks, you know I still am feeling bad about it anyway, because it's so hard to work so hard to build something and then to see it all fall apart and feel so powerless to do anything about it. It's really hard to see that happen and to feel like what you're doing doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter enough for the communities to support it through, you know, patronizing your business, which seems to show that it's not of value to the community. If it was, it seems like you'd be able to stay in business without a problem, and so that's embarrassing. As a director of that organization, it's embarrassing to come to terms with that. But then tonight, well, earlier today, this morning, my student, Kayla, her mom messaged me and was like, hey, this reporter from KY3 is trying to get a hold of you, and this is her phone number. And I was like, that's random, okay. It's funny that they contacted my student instead of me. And but I guess she's related to somebody who works there. And so I messaged the lady, and she's like, well, her name's Abby. The reporter's name is Abby. And she's like, you know, can we meet up in an hour? Is how it worked out. I was making some oatmeal for breakfast. And man, my stomach is just in knots thinking through all of this. I feel so weird. I don't know how to feel right now. So anyways, I was making my oatmeal because it's a nice chilly day today. And I was like, okay, sure, I can be at work in an hour to do this interview. Just like the one with Color 10. Like, can we do an interview in an hour? And I'm always like, what? I would have fixed my hair differently, worn a different outfit. But I guess it's gonna be fine because I'm not gonna say no. Because you just never know what will happen. So I kind of rushed off to work and, you know, just trying not to cry all day today because it's the beginning of the last week, first day of the last week that will be open, as far as I know. And so did the little interview with her, and then my student Kayla came and she, you know, did an interview with her as well and played piano and sang for her. And when my first student showed up at the end of our interview, Nicole, she filmed some of Nicole's lesson, which was a big surprise for Nicole, even more than it was for me. So she's like, if you just film the back of my head, it's fine. And man, it's just hard for me to even talk right now, which is a rare occasion. My head is spinning. So she's like, it's gonna go on the news. The 4 p.m., like, it'll be an abbreviated version on this channel 33 or something, KRPS maybe, and then at 5 it'll be on KY3. And I was going to be teaching then, so I couldn't watch it, but she gave us a link so we could watch it, you know, online afterwards. I don't get TV stations anyway, so I couldn't have watched it, but told my mom. My mom got to watch it, and my dad. And which is nice because they couldn't watch the Color 10 report because they don't get that channel. But anyways, so KY3, you know, they have such a big reach. I remember watching them when I was a little kid growing up, KY3 and Color 10, both of them. So it's so weird to think of the Conservatory being on those stations so many times over the years. And especially for something like this, like, you never think you're going to be on the news for something sad and embarrassing and tragic like this. My business is failing. So I finished teaching for the evening, and I was looking forward to watching the report. And I got, like, I was just checking my email before I finished for the day, and I got such a weird, cryptic email from this guy. And he was like, hey, I saw the report on KY3 tonight, and I was wondering if I could get Heather's cell phone number and give her a call. I have some questions about it. And I was like, oh yeah, you can have my number and call me if you want to. And so he texted me and he's like, I just want to ask you some really pointed questions, if you don't mind, about your situation. And I guess he'd actually been watching some of the YouTube videos and seen some of the news reports and things like that. And I guess his wife is a musician, and they both were kind of, you know, interested in the story. And they're really big, you know, really big supporters of the arts in our state. And, you know, after we talked for a while, it kind of boil down to, like, if, you know, you have enough teachers who want to stay at the conservatory, I will meet you tomorrow and give you a check so that the conservatory can stay open for the next 3 months, if you are willing to do that. And I'm like, well, I've got to pay the rent, whether it closes or not, so I'm up for it. But I'm like, I don't know how the teachers are going to feel about it, because, you know, for them, they don't have to pay studio fees anymore, so it's like an automatic raise to not teach here anymore. I mean, you lose the chance of referrals and not having to teach out of your own home, but, you know, if you've already got a good studio going, then... And we're supposed to close in 2 days, so you've already, like, made arrangements and figured out everything about, like, where your students are going to be meeting you and stuff. It's like, your mind is just blown because it's such short notice to change direction. So I sent out, like, this urgent message to all the teachers, like, hey, anybody interested in still teaching here? If we could stay open for the next 3 months, and, like, I can't make a guarantee about anything other than that we'll be open till December, because I don't know what's going to happen in January. I don't know if we'll have a vaccine and everything will be back to normal and it'll be great, or if we'll barely make it through, if we get funding and then we're still going to close because nothing has changed and we still haven't recovered our student base. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to expect. And I was really surprised. I kind of thought to myself that probably everybody wouldn't want to, and I wouldn't blame them if they didn't want to. But I just kept getting back, yes, 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 I want to be a part of it. Like, I'm on board for it. I want to, you know, try. If we can, I would try. And, just warms my heart. It makes me feel so happy to see that, because I don't know, it's just so great to see that people, like, want it to keep going. It makes me feel like everything I've worked for is worth something to some people. And then, man, I don't remember what I was going to say. Anyways, my head, like, I don't even feel happy right now. I just feel like, what? So just shocked. And I also kind of don't want to let myself feel happy yet, because I feel like, what if it's some weird scam or fraud or, you know, some weird thing. But it seems legit so far. He actually called and talked to me on the phone and sent me a link about some other philanthropic things that he's done for the arts. And so I'm feeling hopeful. And I'm supposed to meet up tomorrow afternoon, and we'll see if it's real and if the check clears. And oh my goodness, like, I can't even think what it means. It's just such a change of perspective, but I'm trying not to feel too excited about it, because it just seems incredible to think of being able to keep going. Like, I mean, 3 months is a long time, and I mean, you just don't know, like, what we could do in that amount of time. Like, maybe everything would be fine. So, anyways, this is not a very entertaining video, or well organized or well thought out, but I just wanted to have a record of how today has been, because this is like one of the weirdest days of my life. I'm starting it thinking this is the last Monday Conservatory of the Ozarks will ever exist, and in 3 days it will be completely over. And now, maybe tomorrow, the day before it's supposed to end, everything's gonna be okay, or at least okay for 3 months. I don't know. And I just emailed also, one other thing, I just emailed Dr., well, I won't say his name, but the guy who's in charge of the CARES Act committee. And I was like, well, the CARES Act committee the application ends on Wednesday. That's the last day you can submit. And so I don't know if I could resubmit my application if we aren't going to have to close, at least for 3 months. I mean, then maybe they could consider my application again. And if we got that funding too, then I feel like, you know, we would be pretty solid to, at least for several months. I feel afraid to feel really definitely hopeful though, because this year has just been such a nightmare of uncertainty. Like, I never thought it would go like this. I never would have thought something like this year would be possible. And I feel bad to even complain or say anything, because other people are going through so many worse things than I am, you know. Nurses and doctors and grocery workers and, you know, all these people who are having to go to work every day and encounter all these people breathing germs on them and getting sick, exposing their families to it, and people losing their jobs and their homes. And so I feel bad to be complaining about my little situation. Compared to those things, it's very little and doesn't matter, but of course it matters to me. It's my little dream and my little vision, so I just feel so happy and hopeful to think that it could keep going somehow, even if it wasn't because of me, even if it's because, you know, somebody else saved us. It just seems incredible, like, to think that we could have a Christmas recital in 2021. And maybe get our enrollment back up to where it was and be like what I had pictured and hoped and planned for it to be going forward. So we'll see. Anyhow, I guess I will stop here and probably update tomorrow, and we'll see how it goes. So have a great night, everyone. Bye bye for now.